streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak.
All right, welcome to Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs. Today's episode is titled The Black Mamba Mindset. What does it take to completely transform your life? Is it determination? Is it discipline? Maybe it's faith. Or is it the decision that your current circumstances will not define your future? Well, today's guest believes that every setback is actually a setup for something greater. He's a transformational speaker, a leadership coach, podcast host, author, and a man whose own incredible journey from adversity to purpose through an extraordinary physical transformation known as the Black Mamba journey is inspiring people all around the world to go and rise beyond their limitations. So stay with us, because this episode just might change the way you think about your own story. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, where we're speaking life into the moments that matter. This isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a space where stories are honored, voices are lifted, and truth has a mic. Each episode, we dive into powerful conversations on identity, on equity, growth, healing, leadership, and the courage that it takes to speak up in a world that often wants us to keep quiet. Whether it's through personal testimony, community impact, or artistic expression, Born to Speak to You is where voices rise and change begin. Our mission is simple: to empower people to use their voice, own their truth, and build bridges of communication and understanding. So, sit back or lean in, because you're about to witness what happens when passion meets purpose. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Let's speak life. All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Buckle up and let's take a ride, because our guest today is Neville Thompson. As I said earlier, he's the transformational speaker. He's a certified John Maxwell disc coach, leadership expert. He's the author of Navigate to Your Dreams and the host of the Lighthouse podcast. Neville has dedicated his life to helping people overcome adversity, discover their purpose, and transform their mindset. Through his powerful story of practical leadership experience, unwavering faith, he reminds us that transformation isn't just possible, it's available to anyone that's willing to embrace the journey. So welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, Neville Thompson.
Hey, Calvin, thanks for this great opportunity. I just wanted to share some thoughts that people can use and help to transform their own journey. Everyone's journey is different. Just give you some tidbits that can help to transform and help to drive things that you want to do in your personal and also your business life.
Absolutely. So let's get started. Let's jump right into the deep end, as I like to say. That's where the party's at. So let's go. Our first segment is the breaking point, where transformation begins. I believe that every transformation begins with a moment. It could be a decision. It could be a challenge. It could be a wake-up call, but it begins with a moment. So was there one defining moment that changed the trajectory of your life?
Well, there's probably been several, but I'll just talk about one that's probably happened to me within the last 20 years. Uh, Initially, I applied for a job here. I'm based out of the DC area. I applied for a job, and I was excited about it. I was in Florida. I was going to go to DC, spread my wings, and learn more. And I didn't know that when I applied for the job, there were over 60 other people that applied for it. So it's kind of like American Idol. So I made the first cut. So I got down to the 15. And then maybe I was kind of like Ruben Studdard, but maybe more handsomer. Then I made it to the final three. And then when they called the envelope, I was not the winner. I was decimated because I'm thinking I made the cut down to the final three. So I can relate to people who have been in a competition, the reality shows, and they get to the final thing and they're waiting for the envelope to open up. And then when they call the name, you hoping it's a Steve Harvey moment and they call the wrong name and you actually are the winner. But for my case, it wasn't. I was heartbroken. But another opportunity arose later. Less than a year later, it was an opportunity that was even better than the one I applied for. So it's not about me, but sometimes in life, maybe it's a house, maybe it's a job, or maybe there's another opportunity that you're giving it your very best and giving it your all, and it doesn't come through. I'm here today, and maybe my purpose is to say, hey, maybe this is a great disappointment, but maybe there's sunshine on the other side. One of the major things that I have on the Lighthouse podcast, we have a lighthouse. Those who are familiar with who are lighthouse aficionados, that is basically the guide you during the dark storms. Maybe it's for ships. It's kind of like a beacon. It will give you a direction when you're out of whack. Maybe your directional compass is off. But if you go to the light, you can always win. So sometimes when you're going through disappointment, you're not getting exactly the thing you want, you're in the dark. But keeping the lighthouse or keeping that purest point of what you want to really do would take you to the next phase of your life.
Well, Neville, you've said that oftentimes setbacks are something that gets you ready for the setup. All right. So, what does that really look like to everyday people and everyday life?
Well, a lot of times, there's a phrase: a setback is a setup for a comeback, and that's from my mentor Willie Jolly. So I definitely want to give him props. I think what happens is sometimes we get caught up on things we can't control. So maybe you get caught up in maybe the news cycle or reality TV or something that you really have a little to no control over. So really, what I'm just saying is really focusing on the things that you can control, and those can transform your life. I mean, we can't control unfortunately, the gas price. I wish we could, or you can't control inflation. But there's some things within your dramatic or immediate control that can make a dramatic impact in your life. So really focusing on those things. And one of the things that Willie taught me, and it's been very mindful for me for the last couple of years, is I used to be I am still a news hound. I used to get up, cut the news on, try to embrace and try to act like I'm smart. But then things change, and this is not political. Whoever's in the party, you might not like them. Things are going this way or that way. But what I did, I changed my mindset a few years ago. Instead of listening directly into the news, I would listen to something that was faith-based, motivational, something to clear my mind. And so when I listened to those things and kind of built the foundation, then I would maybe at the far end, maybe add 3 or 4 minutes of news, and that made a big difference for my transformation. So really, I think you need to surround yourself amongst positive inspiration, positive things that kind of get you there and help to transform your life, and really more of a mindset than anything.
For sure, for sure. And I found out in my own personal life that whenever I come up against any kind of adversary, there's an opportunity there for me to grow. There's a lesson there for me to learn from. My last job in corporate America was at a logistics company, and I was working in customer service of all places, and had a manager there that did not like Calvin, which I found to be shocking because everybody loves Calvin, right?
Yeah, like everybody likes Chris.
Really. But she did not like me from day one. They brought her in to handle the customer service area. She had no experience in in logistics at all, didn't know the business, and she not only had it out for me, but several other people as well. So as the year went by to a year and a half, it got more and more toxic around there, wanting to write a person up, all kinds, to the point, Neville, where I would sit in the car in the parking lot in the morning, 15, 20 minutes before I had to go in, and actually decide whether I wanted to go in that day. Did we have enough bail money to get me out if something should go, upside down in there? And all that to say, she was eventually removed from that position. And I asked myself, why was I there? What was the lesson I had to learn? And as it turned out, I didn't realize this till like years later. My team lead at that time could have spoken up, could have helped me, did not, because he was feared for his job as well. I get it. But he became I ran into him. He's now a born again Christian. I should say a new Christian. And, we went out, we talked about it and everything. And he's told me that watching me there and the way that I navigated through that environment gave him the instinct to go look and see who Jesus was. And I said, well, that's the reason I had to go through that adversity. There was a lesson there, not for me, but for somebody else. So sometimes
it's amazing. I mean, I just want to jump in because sometimes people are looking to see how you react to a situation, and just to see what kind of life lessons they can get. And say if you had got belligerent, you flip tables over, and then they were like, "Wow, she was exactly right." So you would have fed into the narrative that she was putting out there potentially, and really, and I'm thinking about it. If maybe that had gone great, and even if you have survived that opportunity, you might not even be on this podcast now, because sometimes pressure maybe direct you to the other areas, like what do I really have passion to do? So sometimes these pressure points can be aim points for you to live your dream, because maybe the calling could be like, you shouldn't be here right now. I'm not saying now don't go get crazy and sue Calvin. Y'all quit y'all jobs tomorrow because like he don't have enough insurance on that. But maybe there's an opportunity where you can sit and you can reflect and you can think about things, and then you can maybe do some transformation or some thoughts, maybe do a part-time something to get you to where you want to be. Yeah.
And what I've learned is sometimes the adversity you're going through is not necessarily your lesson to learn, but to benefit someone else.
So, exactly.
Yep. So let's take a break right here, Neville. We'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Today we're talking about the Black Mamba Mindset with my guest, Neville Thompson. Neville, our next segment is called Discipline Over Doubt, Building the Black Mamba Mindset. Now, I started out with a quote for the first segment that transformation starts with a moment. But it isn't just a moment, it's a series of intentional choices, right? So I know that you had a Black Mamba transformation journey. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, if those familiar with Kobe Bryant, it was Black Mamba, and his thing was, hey, he had natural born abilities, natural born skills, natural born things, but he had to maybe try a little bit harder. We get up early in the morning. I mean, you do a practice initially, then maybe cool down and actually do another practice. But for me, it was Black Mamba mindset was, for different areas. But let me just talk like on a weight health conscious journey, right? So I don't think I changed doctors maybe a year or so ago. So the first doctor would get on me, you need to lose weight, you need to do all these other things. I'm thinking, okay, whatever. But I'm gonna be honest with you, those Doritos would tasting pretty good. I mean, I don't know if people like Doritos. If you have Doritos, just raise your hand. They'll taste pretty good. So I transformed and I went to another doctor, and she says, did your last doctor talk to you about weight management? So I'm saying, wow, are you trying to say I'm fat? Yeah, I mean, so that's a different way of putting it. And so for me, it challenged me. And so then it changed my mindset on things I need to do, make slight little tweaks, maybe get someone to give you some nutritional tips. And then I was definitely engaged more on exercise, trying to be more conscious. And then actually my fraternity had a bigger loser contest. So actually at one time I was doing 2 weight competitions a week. I would do Weight Watchers. We have a weigh-in on Saturday, and then the fraternity would have a weigh-in on Friday. So I felt like I was going to sprint, and so I had to do things that would get me there. It's 2 weigh-ins in a week was a lot. I feel like I was trying out for the Olympic boxing team. So I definitely was more mindful on the things I ate. I spent more time on physical activity. I spent more time on meditation and those kind of activities. So over the course of, since the beginning of this year, I've down basically 20 pounds. And that was just really just focusing in. It wasn't anything that I had done that was like dramatic, but just having more discipline in what you do, because it's so easy. You're in the daily grind. I'm in DC. I think, Calvin, you're in Illinois, Chicagoland. You can even be in a small city. It doesn't make a difference on geographic reason. You can get caught up in the daily day-to-day grind and really lose yourself when you're trying to do things. So really it's the hardcore discipline, actually writing it down. I know it's old school, writing it down and trying to track it. So I actually was using this thing here, trying to use put a couple of ChatGPT things in place to give me a way that would give me a compass. So I had to discipline myself, but then I was using some electronic devices to get me there. So 20 pounds, I was pretty proud of that mindset. Okay. And when I went to go see the doctor, he's like, wow, what are you doing? So I said, but you called me fat last time.
So which one was harder for you, the physical battle or the mental battle?
I think really the mind controls everything. So I think that once you make your mind together to make those things, you can do the walks, you can do I've done a virtual marathon. I'm not like I'm not like strong where I can do like one all the way, but I have done virtual marathon, virtual 5Ks over time. So I really had to put that in my mindset that I could do it, because physically your body can tell you can't. I'm not saying push yourself beyond limits, but in your mind, sometimes you can push it. Years ago, I had a trainer, and we'd do reps, and I'm doing pushing the bar up, and then I said, "Man, I just can't do it anymore." He says, "Hey, if you do this last, push up on this bar here, you can get a free lesson." I'm like, "That's like a $65 value." So now I was able to push through. It wasn't that I was any stronger. It's just my mind was intrigued with the free lesson. So sometimes maybe you're going through something, right? And physically you're not there, but I believe your mind can take you to the next level, and you can do superhuman things once you have your mind there.
Absolutely. Now, Neville, what would have happened if he had, whispered to you when you said you couldn't do not one more push up on the bar? He said, if you do 10 more, I give you a bag of Doritos.
Well, I don't. I don't know. I might have called. I like the reload, but I might have said, "Well, I'm going to take an L on this one." I mean, you gonna maybe you have to give me two lessons, because 2 lessons would definitely be worth more than 10 bags of Doritos. So if you had
Okay.
that 2 lessons there, that would have probably pushed me to the next level. But I definitely believe that your mind can definitely control your body.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you mentioned discipline, and I'm glad you did, because from the stage, discipline is one of the things that I talk about on a regular basis. And did you ever have a situation where your discipline replaced your self doubt?
I think if you have, well, I know if you have the discipline, it will definitely get you to the next level. I mean, Calvin, you go to stages and you speak. I've done that also. What happens is you can actually roll out of bed and say, "Let's do this," and your mindset could be okay. But you gotta have some type of discipline checklist. For those who done speaking, or maybe done is speaking be other things can happen along the way. There was years ago, I had a small keynote, and I was going to give on some information to get out to my audience. And there was a politician, I won't call any names. He spoke maybe 2 speakers before me. He gave an outstanding, or it was kind of like a sermon / keynote. People were like, "Wow, this is amazing." Then the guy after him, his time got cut by half. So originally the speaker was going to be 45 minutes. He wanted to be an hour and a half. So when it comes to me, just say your name and give an email address. So what happens is the discipline is just being able to flex to where the situation is. So knowing that going in, you might be given an opportunity. Maybe they say you're going to do this for 5 minutes. Just know in the back of your mind something's going to happen. It's going to exceed the time, and you might have to take that real time and take your presentation or take whatever you were supposed to do and compress it maybe half or a quarter. So having the discipline to say up front, what will happen if this goes over time? How can I still give my message? And really, I think your message, you're like the spokesperson for your message. The message obviously is important because you wouldn't be giving it, but really you're like the parent for that message. So as a parent, how do you protect the integrity of the message if the time goes? So I think discipline, having a checklist, going through what happens if this happens, what happens if this doesn't work, or even as a speaker, you might go to if you have the keynote, I'll go to keynotes the night before, go through the AV equipment, talk to people, just having the discipline, because it's better to do that than maybe get there and be surprised the morning of.
Absolutely. I also believe in doing that type of preparation as well. Always have an exit strategy. Sometimes, from my life on the stage, in the theater, I know that sometimes things happen. Murphy's Law, the mics might go out, so you should be able to project your voice to the last person up in the balcony. If they can hear you, everybody in between can hear you as well, or the lights may go out. I had a situation one time where the lights went out, and we had sort of prepared for that type of thing happening. We had a box of candles, believe it or not. One of the stagehands had a box of candles, and after we realized it was a local blackout that was happening, we lit the candles along the edge of the stage and continued on. We had theater in the candlelight, I should say, and that was all because of the discipline that we had, the preparation we did, and everything worked, and the audience loved it.
Oh,
they
nice. This is staged. What's going on here?
they absolutely loved it. So, uh, back to discipline. There's a large amount of resilience that's built into that. What do you think people misunderstand most about resilience?
Resilience is really, circling back on our comments, whereas the physical or mental is really a mindset that says no matter what, you're going to be able to push through. Maybe it's not going to start out exactly how you want it. Maybe it's going to start kind of choppy, but then you can do it. This takes me back to a while ago when I was in eighth grade. My best friend was running for class treasurer. This guy had the highest GPA. He could run. He could make numbers sing. He was outstanding. And so they asked him to do like a campaign for treasurer. And so he goes there, and then he picks up the microphone, and then this weird noise comes out of my mouth. Wow! And then I looked at him. I'm in the audience, and he looks at me, and he says, "That's it. I'm done." And he walks off the stage. He didn't win the election, right? Because he, I mean, as eighth grader, you probably won't have this, but we can learn from his lesson. Didn't have the resilience to, hey, maybe that first word didn't come out exactly right, but maybe I need to reposition myself. So for my friend, he lost something, for him was important, being an eighth grade treasurer. But for us, we have the ability to lose even more. Say we get off to a rocky start, having the discipline to refocus, reshuffle, maybe the words didn't come out exactly right the first time, but you can really bounce back. A lot of times in sports, what happens is, and I'm not a pros guy, only done like amateur or pickup, you have a game plan going into the game, but then your opponent has a game plan that counterbalances that. So having the discipline to adjust to the situation. Maybe you're going to shoot a jump shot. Your jump shot got blocked all the time, 4 or 5 times. But what I've seen in life is people who are the most successful. And one of the guys I'm thinking about, not Michael Jordan, it's not Kobe Bryant or Kobe Bryant fan, is Robert Horry. They call him Big Shot Bob, if you're familiar. I don't think anybody in Chicago, but he played for many different teams. But when the pressure was on the line, he was the guy that would give the ball to for the last shot. When the last 5 to 10 seconds of the game, he would shoot the ball, it would go in, and I think he has more championships than Michael Jordan. They call him Big Shot Bob. But in the course of the game, there was probably times that he didn't hit anything. And then when they tapped his shoulder and said, this is the game is on the line, he elevated his game to win. So sometimes in life, maybe you took 100 shots. They didn't work. But when they tap you on the shoulder, and you don't know when this moment is going to happen, you can elevate just for that time. And then you can make it happen. And I saw one of the interviews that Robert Horry gave years ago. And they said, well, his opponent, they said, well, I'm kind of surprised that you took that shot. And he says, you better ask somebody. This is what I do for a living. I only come in at the time to take the big shot. They said, and some of his teammates were kind of saying, he was kind of, he had energy, but he was kind of lackadaisical maybe during the game. But when the pressure was on, that's when he decided to come through. So I don't know what the pressure you're going through, but maybe it's a time that maybe you tried something 8 times, it failed. But maybe on this 9th, 10th, or 11th time, this is your opportunity to be Big Shot Bob. And he has more. You can Google it. He has more NBA championships than Michael Jordan.
Okay. I'm definitely going to look that up because Michael got 6, right?
Michael has 6. I think Robert Horry may have 7. I know you got a few with the Lakers. He's been with the Rockets. I think also been with the Spurs. He's been with several different teams, and he's just there to take that one big shot. And he was not afraid to take the shot when you give him an opportunity. So he just took a shot in a basketball game, but we have the shot of a life, which is even a bigger game that we can take it. Forget about what happened in the past. Press forward to say what's going to happen right now in this very moment. And it reminds me of this, I think, and I forget the automobile maker. It might have been Kia or I forget, but it's an SUV. And then basically what they're doing, they're driving. And they said sometimes in life, we're spending so much time looking in the rearview mirror that we need to look in front to keep ourselves focused on where we're going. Not where we've been, but where we're going. So we have that same mindset of keeping ourselves focused on the future. Maybe the things we did in the past didn't go great. You would definitely get to your ultimate destination, wherever that destination is for you.
Yeah. And, it's a funny thing about preparation. You mentioned about people have their game plans. And I remember former heavyweight champ Mike Tyson, also from Brooklyn, once said, yeah, everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that is so true. So one of my 5 disciplines of my life is that if I know I'm going to be in a fight, if I know I'm going to have to go up against adversity, I am not going to be the first one to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wrong. There's nothing wrong with going on the offensive, so that you can get into a better defense, later on. But if
Mm-hmm.
you hit first, you can knock them off their game. So Neville, we're going to take a little break right here. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. We have a message from our sponsor. This is Born to Speak to You TV. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We're talking about the Black Mamba Mindset with my guest, Neville Thompson. And our next segment, Neville, is called Living the Legacy, Turning Purpose into Impact. I believe that once you transform your life, then the next step is to help somebody else transform theirs. And that's what I do on a regular basis. I know that's what you do on a regular basis. So I want to start by asking a question about your book, Navigate to Your Dreams. Why was it important for you to write that book?
Well, it's funny. So I've been a member of the National Speakers Association for years. We went to a meeting one time, and then they had things that what could you do to help transform your like speaking career? And so one of the people, and typically I would just write notes, but it's one of the few times I would ask questions. And he says, "You need to write a book." And so I'm thinking on the way from from back from the meeting to my house, what could I write that would be authentically me? It wasn't like a shell of me, it was my real authentic self. And that's when I came up with Navigate to Your Dreams on the way back from a National Speakers Association meeting. So we talked about family, faith, friends, fortitude, and fuel. And those are things that I've used in my life. You have friends, your faith, you have fortitude, you have things that drive and propel you. And so that was the main driver for me to write the book, because on the cover of the book, and it's on Amazon, it basically has a lighthouse and a ship is going through rocky seas. So that is a symbol of what people may be going through in their lives. Maybe there's their job, they didn't get the job they wanted, they didn't get the house they wanted, they didn't get something that they wanted. But then if you focus it on what you're seeing right there in front of you and not what's ahead of you in that light and wherever that goal is, you can lose your focus. So I'm saying that kind of resonated with me. And then in the book, we talk about life lessons because a lot of times people read books. Well, now I guess people don't read that much anyhow. They listen to audiobooks. But I think there's in any book you read, especially if it's motivational, it needs to be how can you take your life and or how the person can take that book and implement it right away. So in the book, there's like quick takeaways on things on faith or things on fortitude, surrounding yourself with friends. So that was a driver for me, So it's kind of like you always hear these people say, "What would a older version of me tell a young version of me?" So I think that the book was basically is it's in my thoughts, and I may be biased because I wrote the book. Is evergreen techniques to kind of no matter what situation you're going through, is these 5 pillars can definitely get you to exactly where you want to go.
Absolutely. And I often talk about navigation of dreams to get to the goal, get the goals done, but it's never a linear line.
Hmm.
You know, through the storms you talked about of life, you might get blown off course. The wind's going to blow you to an uncharted island you didn't even know was there. You have to uh, recalculate how you're going to get there, and that's fine. That's fine. The main thing is that you keep going, right?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was thinking because a lot of times we can have a checklist. You can say I'm going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 things to get there, but that's important. I think that can get you in the arena. But I think sometimes you have to go off script because maybe there's an inward voice or inward instinct that tells you what you really need to do to get there, right? So you're maybe from point A to point B to point C to get there, but maybe that's not the answer to your point. Maybe you need to go from point A to point D, and maybe you're thinking in your mind this is how it's going to be, but maybe there's an opportunity that you don't know about. Years ago,
Hmm.
I mentioned earlier in the segment, I interviewed for a job, didn't get it. Then I got another job that I actually loved. And then as a result of that job, I was able to make a contact there and make other contacts from there. And if you ask me how I would have maybe done a trajectory of my career would have been point A to point B to point C, but these were kind of like roller coaster rides, like I will go here, then an opportunity to go here, but then stepping out on faith and maybe taking that opportunity that you may not feel comfortable with, but if that inward voice says this is for you, I sincerely believe it may be for you because how you may get there may get you there, but maybe there's some unforeseen or maybe some unexpected results or a friend, a contact, some information that you don't have right now that you won't get if you continue on your right trajectory that you have from point A to point B. That maybe if you go off the beaten path, you may get exactly the information you need and you get to the same endpoint, but maybe not exactly how you planned it.
Okay. So, Neville, what conversations do you believe that our world desperately needs right now?
Well, I just reflect on what Willie Jolly, my mentor, told me years ago. Is he says, number one, Neville, when you get up in the morning, I mean, news is fine, radio is fine, but open your mind to either some that's inspirational or motivational. So it's a lot going on, no matter what the party affiliations, who you support or whatnot. If you support the person, you like it. If you don't support it, you don't like it, whatever. But there are some things, irregardless of who's ever in any political office, is that you need to work on yourself. A lot of times I think that we put a lot of our focus on external things that we can't control. I think we need to focus on things we can control. So for you, maybe you can't control what's the stock market, or you might not be able to control if your football team or basketball team wins. But what things you control is your mindset each and every day. So you can either do some reading, like the old-fashioned way, listen to an audible book. I'm big into journaling on occasion. I write down goals, or just write down things you want to do in the next 4 to 5 years. What I've noticed is, and I was cleaning out some things in my office here recently. Anytime I seriously put pen to paper and wrote something, and then I'll take it, maybe put it off to the side, get busy doing things. But now I'm going through some of my old records. The things I actually wrote down and put discipline to, I've been fortunate and blessed to attain the vast majority of those things. Those are things that I made a conscious effort to do. But in the world right now, looking back on your question, there's so many things that you can get distracted, either through the news, through the reality TV, or what's happening on some tabloid. All those things are okay, but I think and a lot of, I mean, and I'm probably as guilty as most of the people on strolling, except if you're going to stroll and watch this TV show. Now, that's something you need to definitely watch on this podcast
Absolutely.
or Lighthouse podcast.
Do
But
that. Do that.
yeah.
Yes.
Now you can stay on there and get some great inspiration you can use. But I'm just talking about strolling, and you do it. You look at one thing, and especially probably with TikTok, you can start scrolling in different areas, and then next you know, it's an hour gone of your life, and maybe that same hour and some reading, some journaling, some books, some type of inspiration that can get you a lot closer. Maybe you want to buy a commercial real estate property. Maybe actually going old school and getting a library card. I know y'all got a new library in Chicago. Go actually check out a book, or maybe get an ebook, and maybe figure out what people have done. I think my mentor Willie Johnson said people either learn from mistakes or from, learn. Sometimes you can learn from other people's mistakes, or sometimes people can get a roadmap. I think you can get a roadmap by reading books and audiobooks on maybe what people did that weren't successful. So really focus in more on yourself, things internal and less external. I'm not saying you got to be selfish. It's just really just trying to, where you want to be 5 years from now. And the way I think you get there is letting your control focus on things that are going to build your muscle up.
That's correct, because with all the things going on in the world that you just mentioned, that the ordinary day-to-day person, the average Joe, we can't do anything about it. Why not take that time to work on ourselves? Why not take that time to work on our mental health? If you work on yourself, you feel better. You've accomplished some things. You might have learned something new today. You feel better about yourself. And I think that's so important, because a lot of us don't have the power, the clout to make change in what's going on in the world, in our country. But we can take that time to continuously learn something, to get better at something. I think it was James Brown who said, he don't get ready, he stay ready.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it was him, because when a time is going to come when you're going to need to be ready. And if you don't take that time now, you got to waste time at that point to get ready. So stay ready, learn something, do something. I definitely agree with that, Neville. Thank you for that.
Well, actually, two more build offs from that. So one of the things, as far as getting ready, a lot of times I mentor people, and then you say, hey, you're trying to get another job, you're trying to get this, so you have a resume. I don't get around to it, right? And then they say you get around to it, then a year later is, so you mentioned before you may have some hard issues at a job, and maybe a person's having hard issues now, and then they're going to get their resume ready at some point in the future. But if you have it ready here and there, then you can at least get an opportunity. You can break Robert, or you can miss 100 shots, but at least you hit the one that you really have. So I definitely think you need to be ready. And then two, I just know on a personal thing, regardless of politics, regardless of the economy, one of the big things that really was most transformative for me was meditation. I didn't think this would be something that I would be into. This and kind of like hokey pokey anything. I just didn't feel like it was being into that. But what I noticed is I had both parents. They were going through extreme medical issues. I didn't have any control of what they how the medical things were going, like as far as the actual body, but I could focus in and try to work with their care providers and give them the best options for them. And so what I noticed is I had a stint when both of my folks were sick. I had over 500 days of meditation that I did. And basically for me, it was like a shower for your mind. So you're going through a hard work day, you're going through a hard maybe times in ICU or life support. Really what that did was, for 10 minutes, shutting things down to cleanse your mind of maybe the toxins that are out there. So if there's plenty of apps, you probably can go online to get some. You can, I'm a lifetime member of Calm. I'm not getting any plugs from Calm, but just what it would do is give me 10 minutes where I can really focus my mind away from the day-to-day grind. And that really charged me. When I was really disciplined, and I'm okay now, but when that 500 days of straight meditation every day for 10 minutes was definitely transformative for me. And I know it's a struggle. Sometimes people say, well, man, I don't have 10 minutes to do that, but we have 10 minutes to stroll, right? We have 10 minutes to watch Facebook, right. 10 minutes to watch the news. It's just 10 minutes, and your mind may think about things, but then try to let it go if you can. So I think that is a key aspect that can definitely be transformational for people.
Okay. Well, Neville, I have this last question for you. We're up against the clock, but What legacy do you hope your words leave behind?
The legacy I hope is really just having being resilient, being able to push through. I don't claim to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm like, I think it's Avis, try harder. So maybe you're not like the number one draft pick. Maybe you're not the number one beauty king or whatever or wherever it is or king on there. But really just try harder, because I think the prize goes to the person who does something each and every day to get there. A lot of times people have talent and they have outstanding talent, but talent is not enough. It's just having the discipline to show up each and every day and zone in on what your goals are. I think that's the key thing. It's the discipline.
All right. Well, we're going to take a little break here, Neville. When we come back, we're going to play a little game. Are you down for a game?
Yeah, hopefully it's not like Jimmy Kimmel where I gotta like, do something crazy or anything. But yeah,
Oh, no, it's better than that. That's better than that.
That's even better. I like it.
It's even better. We'll be right back after this break. This is Born to Speak to You TV. This is Calvin Gibbs, and this is the segment we like to call Born to Rise. I'd rather have an enemy who admits they hate me instead of a friend who secretly puts me down. Yes, I would rather have somebody that says, Calvin, I do not like you, because I know where that person's coming from. They're being honest. They're being truthful. I know which category to put them in. But when you have a friend who secretly puts you down behind your back, say they got your back when they're talking to you, facing you, and then secretly behind your back, they're talking about you, they're laughing at you, they're hoping you don't be successful. Now, give me the enemy. Give me the enemy any day that admits that they hate my guts instead of a friend, or what I perceive to be a friend, who secretly puts me down. That's your tip for today. This is Born to Rise, and I'm Calvin Gibbs. This is Born to Speak to You TV.
From the streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark.
We're back with my guest, Neville Thompson, and this is 30 Seconds to Speak Life. Neville, this is one of my favorite moments on Born to Speak to You TV. For the next, first of all, we're going to switch things up a little bit different today. For the next 30 seconds, I want you to speak life into someone who's watching today. Maybe they're discouraged. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're thinking that it's too late. I want you to look directly into the camera and remind them why transformation is still possible. Go.
I know it may have been hard. I don't know what you're going through right now. I think you need to have the Black Mamba mindset. No matter what you've been going through, that was yesterday. Let's look instead of looking in the rearview mirror what happened yesterday, let's look in the opportunities that can happen tomorrow. So surround yourself amongst friends, family, and help to build your muscle, because I know that you are here for a destiny. You only have one life to give, one life that you can make your dreams happen. Maybe it didn't happen yesterday, but I know it can definitely happen tomorrow, because you're born to win.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Neville. Audience, I hope you was listening. That was 30 seconds of life right there. Neville, complete the sentence. I want you to complete these as quickly as they come to you. I am strongest when
I'm focused.
Success means
Giving.
the greatest leader is someone who
Gives of themselves.
I hope people remember me for
Giving and investing time in them.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, you hanging in there very well, sir. Finish this sentence. My greatest setback became my greatest blessing because
It changed my life and got me focused in a different direction that I would ever have dreamed of.
I discovered my strength when.
I went through adversity. I mean, losing
Okay.
people, losing a job, losing opportunity. You find how strong you are when you go into a crisis.
The one habit that changed my life forever was.
Daily reading, motivation, focus every day, putting some minutes into that. And also, I mentioned earlier on meditation every day.
Okay. Next, we're going to have reflective one-word answers. I'm going to give you a word or a phrase. Respond with the first word, one word that comes to mind. Ready?
Yes,
Faith,
God.
leadership,
John Maxwell. That's two words, but John Maxwell. I'm sorry.
discipline,
Grit,
failure,
opportunity,
transformation,
belief,
family,
core,
tomorrow.
great opportunity.
Okay, that's two words. All right.
Opportunity. Sorry, I'm not falling. I'm about to get buzzed out. Opportunity. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna let you slide on that one. Okay, this is the last game we're gonna play. This is called this or that. This or that. No explanations at first. I'm just gonna choose one, and we might come back to a few of your answers later on. Faith or fear,
Faith,
discipline or motivation,
discipline,
purpose or passion,
purpose,
comfort zone or growth zone,
growth zone every day.
speaking or listening.
Listening,
Okay. Legacy or success.
legacy.
Okay. So, Neville, you chose discipline over motivation. Tell us why.
I think discipline over motivation remind me of Zig Ziglar. He's one of my. I only got a chance to meet Zig remotely, but he says you got to have some type of discipline because motivation is like a shower. You got to take it every day to keep going. So if you have a
Okay.
discipline to get to your goal, I think it's going to get you there no matter what the good times or bad times. Motivation kind of goes for those with faith. You may go to church or you go to synagogue or wherever your faith is, and then you get a great message that's on Sunday or wherever your Sabbath is. But then other days come, and then you might miss things.
Okay,
So
and
discipline every day.
all right, and you also said, I believe you said growth zone instead of comfort zone. So,
Mhm.
what does living in the growth zone look like for you today?
Doing things that you're not comfortable with. I'm podcasts. I'm okay with them, but that wasn't. If you looked in my speaking career, I would think that I'll be on a big platform, speaking to people, doing things like that. And this is an opportunity to connect with people in a different area. So, going and doing things that are not necessarily what you were wired to do initially, and maybe stepping out on faith, and that I think there's a great amount of blessings and opportunity by doing these opportunities. Definitely
Okay,
growth.
Neville, thank you so much for playing this little game with us. And thank you.
What's the new car? Is the new car coming? Is going to come out the curtain?
Oh, no, that's next season. Yeah, you get a car, they get a car.
Dang.
Yeah. As soon as the sponsors come in, we're giving away cars next season. We'll have you back.
Okay, well, I look for the Hot Wheel model that will come in my Amazon package. I like that one.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the show. And if you
Thank you.
want to connect with Neville, you can reach him
Yeah,
through his
go ahead.
website.
Yeah, just go to my website, nevillespeaks.com. There's contact information there. You can definitely go to Amazon.com. You can download my book. It's on Amazon. You can download the Kindle, quick read, and you can get some motivation and inspiration that will get you to the next level.
And also on the screen is his email address, nevillespeaks@gmail.com. Neville
Yes.
Thompson, I want to thank you for being a part of the Born to Speak to You family.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. I'm
Thank
honored
you.
to be on your platform. I mean, when I'm looking at the commercials and looking at the thing, I'm thinking, I think Jimmy Kimmel better watch out because he might be losing his job there. You have a real good setup here. You have done a great job, and more importantly, it's not only entertaining, it's inspirational and motivation, and that's what people need to have. Even when the laughs are done, inspiration and motivation will take you to the next level.
Absolutely. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon. Please feel free to come back anytime.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity.
This is Born to Speak to You TV. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. Don't go away. What an inspiring conversation. Today, Neville Thompson reminded us that transformation doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins the moment that we decide not to give up. So we want to thank Neville for sharing your heart, your journey, your story, and your wisdom with us. We also want to extend our sincere appreciation to our partners at DFN Broadcast Studio for providing this outstanding platform where we can have life-changing conversations to reach audiences all around the world. If you want to follow up with this episode or any future or past episodes of Born to Speak to You TV, please scan the QR code on your screen. And to our viewers, just remember this: your past does not determine your future. Your story is still being written, and the next chapter can be your greatest one yet. Well, that's about all, y'all, for this segment of Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and it's always imparting that we take 2 steps to the rear and get on out of here until the next episode. Exit stage left.
Of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak to you. He's got that rhythm in his truth, that fire in his flow. Speaking life into the moment, watch it grow. Every phrase, every beat, a breakthrough cue.